What's going on, everyone? 我是麦克老师. Haven't made a video for a while, so yeah, thought I'd talk about Shanghai a little bit. What's going on there? What's going on in the US? Obviously, I have a lot of friends in Shanghai. You know, I've lived there over a quarter of my life. A lot of my friends that live there quite concerned about COVID. I'm just gonna share a little bit about what it's been like in the US for the past couple of months. Every morning when I wake up, I have a couple friends texting me like, oh, I'm positive. Yeah, it's strange. It seems like probably half the people I know have COVID right now. Update since recording, not half, but probably a majority of my friends in Shanghai have now contracted COVID. Probably similar in other first-tier cities like Beijing, Guangzhou, although I don't know as many people there. I know where my wife's family's from. They haven't really seen the explosion in cases just yet. Update since recording, my wife talked to her family this morning and they all pretty much have COVID now. But if I can offer any encouragement, it is that most of you, the overwhelming vast majority of you, will be totally fine. But sadly, it does mean some people will have some problems with it, and there will be deaths, particularly among the elderly, those who are immunocompromised with respiratory issues. Obviously, we know this. I'm not an epidemiologist, so don't just believe what I say. Do your own research. But you know, if you're healthy and you get it, don't worry too much. Some people have no symptoms. Some people struggle for days, weeks. For our family, when we got it back in May, it was pretty mild for us, honestly. I know a lot of people are like buying a bunch of medication, and I do remember taking some ibuprofen just for the fever and the sore throat. Again, it wasn't super bad for me or my wife. For Xiaomai, like if you watched any of my lockdown videos, then you know he had a fever one morning, slept most of the day, slept all night, woke up in the morning, and he was 100% his happy, smiling self. We didn't give him any medicine. He didn't have any sore throat, no cough, no nothing. On average, it really is quite mild for the kids. Again, not everyone's the same. This is just, you know, my family. If you got a few ibuprofen laying around, it does help ease the pain a little bit. Other than that, you just need 3, 4, 5 days to really get back on your feet. And again, for the overwhelming majority of people, you'll just recover naturally. It's just wild to think, just a few months ago, you know, we had to go to the Fangcang to recover from COVID, and now all it just disappeared overnight. A lot of people wondering, you know, is the US still dangerous? Is COVID everywhere? And of course there's still COVID cases and people are getting it, and yes, people are still dying from COVID. The death rate has just gone way, 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 way down. You know, with previous infections and vaccines, like pretty much everyone has some kind of immunity here. So having been here for the last 2 months, we're back here because my brother passed away and dealing with his estate, but if you put that aside, being here in the US, it is really nice. Not really any COVID restrictions. I guess you have to wear a mask when you go to the hospital, and for the most part, people just go about their life as normal. Going out to eat, going to very crowded places, seeing people. You know, we went to Legoland, the theme park, which I love that, by the way, and just doing all kinds of things, and we haven't got COVID again. Maybe that's because we have immunity, or maybe because the whole country has a good herd immunity. I'm not trying to justify how the US handled COVID. Obviously, it was pretty abysmal, but right now, you know, we've been here over 2 months, and in that time, nobody I know has gotten COVID. So yeah, being here in a kind of a post-COVID environment, it's been a huge breath of fresh air. Will I get it again at some point? I have no idea. You know, it's been decades since I've gotten the flu. I used to get it when I was young. Herd immunity is a wonderful thing. Who knew? Again, this is all my anecdotal experience, so not an epidemiologist. Take it with a grain of salt. So I don't know if that's an encouragement to any of you. You know, things are gonna get better, but sadly they're probably gonna get worse before they do get better. If you have immunocompromised friends or relatives, absolutely 100% be as safe as you can around them. Hopefully all the healthy people can get good immunity, and the people who are vulnerable can be protected in these coming months where things are going to escalate. When it's all said and done, you know, what's the death toll gonna be like in China? I have no idea. I know a lot of people sent me articles saying it was gonna be around 1.5 million people. Hopefully it's less. It's a sad part of it, but these kind of sicknesses, they do kill people. But I kind of think about it this way. You know, my grandma died in 2019 before any of this COVID stuff started. You know, she got a cold that developed into pneumonia. She was 93. We knew, she knew, you know, if she got any sickness, that was gonna be it. Her body just wasn't strong enough. So if it wasn't that cold and pneumonia, probably would have been COVID, or it could have been something else. At some point when I'm old and gray, if I make it that long, you know, something's gonna get me too. How long could she have extended her life in the fragile state she was in? Probably not very long. She didn't die at an abnormally young age, and she didn't lose years off her life. So that's one way to think about it. At the end of the day, you know, people are are still dying, and it's sad, especially for me now, having lost my brother a couple months ago. Like, life is very short, and you just spend as much time with our loved ones as we can, because they could be gone tomorrow. And the older they get, you know, the closer that time comes, and it's gonna come. So for us right now, we were originally planning to go back to Shanghai around Chinese New Year, see some family, celebrate the holiday. Now with the big outbreak there, we're definitely gonna stay put. That and dealing with my brother's estate is taking much longer than expected, so we're gonna stick around here for a couple more months, see where things are at. Of course, there are a lot of things I miss about Shanghai, you know, like Waimai and all the restaurants and all the friends, and just, you know, the life we'd established there. It's a huge part of my life, of course. And I don't know, after the lockdowns, I don't know if it'll ever be the same. I mean, it might go back to the same, but just like in my mind, in my heart, you know, everyone that went through those lockdowns just kind of has a little bit of PTSD, a little bit of anxiety. Especially after the lockdown lifted, it was just kind of like, okay, when's the next one gonna be? When is my building gonna have another case? When are they gonna shut schools down again? It's just not fun living with that kind of anxiety. Being back in the US now, I just don't really have any of that, which is really nice. Obviously, like everyone else, I've been thinking about this for a long time. If this happens again, or when this happens again, this is like the 7th or 8th major virus to appear in the 21st century. We had COVID, SARS, MERS, swine flu, a couple other ones. When this happens again, what's gonna happen? Are we gonna go right back into lockdowns again? Or do we do the Sweden approach where they don't ever close down? These are hard questions, and when the next virus does come out, you know, there's gonna be lots of backlash. I don't know how people are gonna react. They're definitely not gonna take it lightly. That's all for now. Let me know in the comments how your city is doing. And I especially mean it this time when I say stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy. 我是麦克老师，下次再见。